How's it going? Welcome back to another video of me just tickling a few little niggly things I've got with the America, and this time it's the headlight. So I haven't run the stock headlight for many years on the America. I think the last time I had it, I think I drilled some holes in the top for the idiot lights because I got rid of the America tank and the idiot lights are on the binnacle on the tank there, so got a shot of that. And then put them in the headlight, but then I went down, I prefer a smaller headlight, sort of slim, low profile. I went with a fairly standard little Bates style. It's about 5.5 inch, I think, maybe 5 3/4, I don't know, somewhere along those lines, but quite a small-ish headlight. Absolutely fine, not overly expensive. My only annoyance with these, the actual throw of light is perfectly adequate. I never had any problems rode at night with it. My main problem is it's just rusting away, and I don't know if is that picking all that up. But this has been repainted twice, I think, now. It's even with a tough black and anti-rust primers, but it just gets a beating. Yeah, it just annoys me. It doesn't look cool and patinaed, it just looks shagged. So I decided to switch things out. Now I did have, knocking around in the spares, this is pick this up, I can't remember when. Yeah, it might have been back in the first SR lot, or even the Bonneville, the other Bonneville that's now going to be the hardtail, I think, when I was messing around with the bottom mate for that. But it's one of these Shinyo ABS. I got the ABS one because they ain't going to rust. Not overly, I never actually ran it. Just wasn't overly keen on the styling. It sticks out quite far. I'm not overly keen on these. It's got that kind of chunky billety rather than a bit more of an old school look. So I never really ran it. Obviously I'm missing the inside out of that. I'll come to that in a second. And what I've been running for the last, well, months and months, I think it's been now, is a little Chinese special. That's on the bike which is outside, so I shall show you that now. Again, that's the light I've been running on here for the past 5 months, 3 months, 5 months maybe. Aluminium housing, quite a small diameter there. Lens, yellow lens obviously because it's cool and funky. Very low profile. I actually bought it originally just to offer it up, just to see what it would be like, possibly for the hardtail, but then I just stuck it on here. I made up a little aluminium mount for it because the other one was just a sloppy cheap chrome thing. So this is a Chinese cheapo one, about 30 quid delivered, I think it was. So there you go. So that's the one I've been running for a while, which is, it's perfectly fine. I really like the looks of it. It's for a Chinese made, 30 quid delivered, I think it was, from China. Can't complain too much. It's certainly gets you seen. Lots of people recognise me from the yellow light. It passed an MOT before anyone asked. Yeah, you can have a yellow light for an MOT. I've not had any issues with the popo. The build quality is fine on it, absolutely fine. To a point. It's a weird kind of bulb situation on that one. It's not a normal kind of 3-pin bulb. It's a strange little spirally filamenty thing. Up until recently I've not really had any issues. It started being a bit intermittent at the moment, so that's a bit of a problem, but you know, 6 months down the line or whatever. My main issue is obviously it's summertime now, and I've not really done an awful lot of pitch black riding. I mean, even when I'm out until 10:30, up until recently, it's been kind of not pitch black.
was out quite late the other night riding back. Kind of my first, I kind of kept meaning to check what it was like at night, and never got round to it. And then I ended up being later out somewhere where I needed to be. On the way back, it was pitch black, and I can categorically tell you it is shit. It is absolutely terrifyingly bad. I literally had about a 25-mile journey to do in pitch black, just sort of tailgating other vehicles just so I could see where I was going in their brake lights. So unfortunately, you know, and as much as it pains me to say it, you know, autumn isn't too far away. Winter is slowly coming behind that. I'm going to be doing a lot of riding in the dark, so I need to have something else. So winter coming, I need some light. I don't want it to rust. They're my 3 bits of criteria, and also I want to have a bit of fun playing around with it. Now I could buy another light, but I figure I've got enough bits and bobs to have a little bit of fun to begin with. So the internal guts of that Shinyo one is there, and that throws out a nice fair bit of light. That's your normal, is it like H4 bulb or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now I was thinking I wasn't keen on the housing on that one. At a push I can use it, probably will do if this doesn't work out, but I thought I'll try and do something with that, and I'm thinking I'm going to give like a flat kind of a flat tracker type number board headlight mount kind of thing of a go. Kind of thing you'd see on flat trackers, I suppose. Probably wouldn't see it so often on a cruisery choppery type thing. I mean, I suppose the old Harleys had big old binnacles and stuff like that on it, but yeah, this is going to be, it's just a bit of fun really, something to just have a go with. So, got a sheet of alley from the scrap bin at work, and going to try and work out some kind of headlight arrangement. Right, so just quickly back out to the bike. So, number board wise, let's ignore all this here and where the speedo and stuff is at the moment, but it's just going to be a flat board that's going to fill this space here, and then a hole cut in it basically for the light. I haven't quite decided if I want it centralised or offset a little bit, and possibly is it going to end in line here just flat, but it ends just in, or maybe I'll put a little curve in if I can. I'm not sure yet. But I've got enough of those aluminium sheets anyway, so I can have a play around and just see what happens. There's plenty of mounting points I can come off of underneath here for brackets, or I could even clamp there, but I'd rather come off here maybe because I don't have to buy any fork clamps. But yeah, I'll have a little play. I'm kind of thinking it might go in line with that, but that doesn't give me much space against the headstock to get the whole light behind, so it might have to kind of come up a bit like that, which might work because then I can clear around there. But yeah, it's all going to be a bit trial and error. I'm kind of going to just make it up as I go along. Right, so I've been scrawling on this bit of aluminium. So just got my centre point. Now the height, so if you imagine the forks are there, so this is what I don't need, and I can get rid of these little holes that were already in it. They can disappear. So that'll be the height between the top and bottom yoke. This line here, so that's the inside of the fork leg. So that is actually almost where the fork leg would be. In fact, I'll measure that out to, what are these Bonneville forks, 42? Yeah. So that's your fork leg. That's your fork leg there. So we can either go in, and I could end it there, and it'd be quite a narrow one. That's a possibility. It just looks a little bit less obtrusive. I don't want this to be too huge. I've also, just for the shits and giggles, so that's the line on the outside of the fork, so if I wanted to curve around here, that might work, but then I don't want it to be start getting too wide. I've also drawn this out, so if I was to cut this area off and bend it, I'd get that kind of, bring it from where the fork legs, if we were looking at it the side on, it'll bring it up forward a little bit. But again, I'm conscious of it, I just don't want this to look like one of those folded kind of origami chunks of metal that are just not particularly nice. So less might end up being more in this case. What I have done though, that there, in fact, Renthal sprocket made a very nice template for drawing that out, and that is kind of exactly what I want, because this is about, I don't know, it was 122 or something like that, I think, diameter on the lens, and that's almost pretty much what I want, because I want to possibly, let me just put this down, be able to just obviously angle the light so I can get it in the right direction. So if we were, let's imagine for a moment that this sprocket is the front plate. Now if you had it just sat, where are we, like that, and I do follow the forks, then it's going to be pointing up to the trees, so I want to be able to tilt it like that to get it flat. So yeah, just to give me a little bit of adjustment if I need it. So yeah, still lots of questions as to where I'm going to go with this. I am literally making it up as I go along. Okay, first part, got the hole cut out so we can see how the light looks in there, and then I might start trimming down the excess around the sides. I suppose I should really try and mount the light up in there now, to give me an idea of how much clearance I've got behind. Right, so I might have got a bit trigger happy on that one. So I was just heating it and bending it, but because I drilled the hole there, and I was using a very primitive method of just clamps and bits of wood, it's not the nicest bends. I mean, they're all right, but there's a bit of distortion around there. So as I've got plenty, and this is all just a bit of fun and trying things out, I've marked it out again, and actually it's given me time to kind of almost doing one and offering stuff up. It's helped me think it through. So I'm not going to cut the hole out until the end this time. I've trimmed the sides down, so this kind of section here will be the main body of it, with the light in the middle. I'm going to have some bends starting here and here going out, and then here, this tab here and this one here, they're going to be bent down and in. They're what I'm going to use to mount. So off where the bottom mount is down the bottom here, and off the top yoke underneath it is some mounting points. So these sections are going to go out. Just mark these out. I'm just going to drill down there so I get a nice semicircle on the edges, cut them out, and I've left these purposely long so I can work out when it's on there how far back and forth I want it, you know, for it all to fit in. So I give myself a little bit extra there to play with. But so yeah, gonna start drilling the holes out, get rid of these sections, do all my finessing and rounding of corners, then do the bends, then drill the middle out. Right, so Mark II cut out. So I've narrowed these as well. I don't think they need to be quite as thick as they were. So I'm going to put my bends in now, basically. I think with the sides, which is going to be this line here going in, it's just going to be, if you're looking down on it, sort of like that. Maybe a touch more, we'll see. Then obviously 90° here and here. Right, this is where we're at the moment, so kind of roughly there. I have just had a sudden thought, which might be a bit of an issue when I bring the bike in a minute, is I completely, despite doing a fair bit of tube bending and stuff in my job at work, I didn't take into account any of the bend radiuses. So I wonder if I'm actually going to, obviously I'm sticking out further than what I just measured point to point, so I don't know if this is going to actually fit. However, that might not be such a bad thing, because as I'm looking at it straight on, if this is the bottom mount one on the bottom yoke, I'd actually prefer this line just to be flat. Obviously there'll be a bracket coming off at the back, but maybe not this lip here, I don't know, but we'll see if it I might have to compromise and fettle a little bit when I offer it up, but we'll have a look. It might not even look any good on there anyway, so we'll give it a go. Okay, so I have been a bit of a dick and not taken into account my bend radiuses, so that's not going to fit. We are way off there, even with that bent way over 90. But it might work out okay anyway. I want to keep the speedo where I've mounted it, so that's obviously going to foul that good big bracket anyway. I quite like the idea of it just being flat and a bit cleaner along the top there. I will have to put a bracket on behind it though. I don't really want to put any brackets on that go along the fork legs. I want to keep that sort of clear. And I'm going to make sure my cables don't get fouled by this as well if I run it. So yeah, so a little bit of reworking, but you know, I'm making it all up as I go along, so to have got it right first time would be amazing, so I'm not too bothered, but I'm kind of quite liking the look of it, I think, in a strange way. We'll see. Right, and so as we can see, the top looks a lot nicer flattened off, so I think I'm happy with that. However, I did balls up yet again, and see the hole sort of skipped and jumped whilst I was cutting that out. It's not as obvious here, but the hole is elongated and it's really too big and doesn't look great with the headlight in there. So I'm going to have to just remake it, but hopefully a lot of the work of working all the bits out has been done, so it shouldn't be too long just to redraw it all up and do it again. But it's kind of, I think it's kind of working. I'm sort of, so this is just not really planning it out, I'm just trying stuff out in the shed. Obviously I'm not in the shed anymore, but yeah, a little bit annoying because I thought I was getting quite ahead with things yesterday, but this set me back an hour or two, but never mind. I think it's inspired me to push on with it, and yeah, we'll keep going. So this will be the end of the part one of this video. I think I'm going to keep going with it and see what happens. Obviously I'm going to have all the mounting, how I'm going to work out mounting the headlight on the back, so that'll be the second video, and hopefully no more major cock-ups. But yeah, rock and roll. Thanks for watching. See you in part 2.